Well, hey folks, the James Craig murder trial is underway in Centennial, Colorado. That's a suburb in Denver, and it's giving us all the twists and turns that we can handle. Now, if you've been following this case, you know it's been a wild ride so far, and it's only 4 days in. The dentist is accused of poisoning his wife, Angela Craig. He poisoned her, according to prosecutors, with cyanide and eye drops, all while juggling an affair and all while dealing with financial woes. Now, Craig's facing charges of first-degree murder, plus a slew of solicitation accounts for allegedly trying to cover his tracks in some seriously shady ways. He's pleaded not guilty, claiming that Angela might have taken her own life. Well, the first week of trial has been packed with drama. Think about it: emotional family testimony, chilling forensic evidence, and a detective dropping a bombshell. So let's dive into what went down, with a special focus on the gut-punching day 3, complete with quotes straight from the courtroom and the defendant's own daughters. Well, welcome to Profiling Evil, where we meticulously explore the complexities of criminal cases in hopes of captivating and challenging our understanding of human behavior. In this episode, we're going to delve into the compelling and intricate James Craig murder trial, a case that's been marked by betrayal, alleged poisoning, and a family in turmoil. Here at Profiling Evil, we try to go beyond the surface level, reporting to analyze psychological underpinnings, to look at investigative strategies, and the critical details that define cases just like this one. Now, James Craig stands accused of orchestrating the poisoning of his wife, Angela. From poignant testimony by Angela's daughters yesterday to compelling forensic evidence, we provide a comprehensive breakdown of the proceedings in week 1. So please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, and enable notifications so that you can stay up to date on our latest content. And please share this episode with fellow true crime enthusiasts and join us as we unravel the chilling details of this extraordinary case. So let's start off by picturing this. The courtroom is buzzing as the trial opens, and the prosecution comes out swinging. Assistant DA Ryan Brackley laid out a dark story saying that James Craig, a seemingly perfect Aurora dentist, poisoned his wife Angela to start a fresh life with a new flame, a Texas orthodontist that he met at a Las Vegas dental conference just a month earlier. Now, the DA isn't holding back, telling the jury as he painted a picture of Craig's wife's final moments. He said, quote, that Craig didn't go into that room to save Angela's life. He went into that room, speaking of the hospital room, to murder her, to deliberately and intentionally end her life with a fatal dose of cyanide, close quote. The DA goes on to point out Craig's what he believes are sketchy moves, the ordering of arsenic online just days before the murders, and after receiving the chemical, allegedly slipping it into her system at the hospital. Now, to back up this claim, the DA points to Google searches that the state attributes to James Craig, which looked up things like how to make a murder look like a heart attack, or is arsenic detectable in autopsy, close quotes. Well, Craig's defensive team, led by a woman named Ashley Whittam, fired back with a totally different angle. Now, they're admitting that James Craig was cheating on his wife, but they say that Angela knew about it and wanted to keep their marriage together because of their faith tradition. She said that Angela knew that he was cheating, that he was candid with Angela, and that he'd been cheating all along. Now, the lawyer told the jury that Angela was a broken woman, someone who might have even tried to end her own life. She went on to slam the cops for having tunnel vision, claiming they ignored other possibilities, things like checking Angela's laptop for clues. Now, that first day of testimony brought in nurses and doctors who treated Angela during her March 2023 hospital stays, and there were 3 of them. They said that Angela was fighting to get better. She talked about getting back to her 6 kids. In fact, one cardiologist, a Dr. Levine, noted that Angela's demeanor was one of concern, that she mainly wanted to get better so that she could go home to her 6 children. That punches a huge hole in the defense's suicide story, showing that Angela was all about her family. She wasn't giving up, and she wasn't contemplating suicide, according to this physician. Now, on day 2, the heat was turned up with the testimony from the office manager at Craig's dental practice. She spilled some serious beans about her boss, stating that she observed him working in a darkened exam room on a computer that he normally doesn't work on. This was completely out of the norm. It was after hours. When she confronted James Craig, he told her that his wife Angela had gotten sick that day after consuming a protein shake that he made her. Now, his explanation? It was a casual, maybe I added too much protein. Now, the office manager didn't buy the story, though, knowing that Angela Craig had ended up in the hospital that day. Then things got a little weirder. A few days later, a package labeled James Craig Personal showed up at the office. This was completely out of the norm. Craig preempted the delivery by telling the office manager that she should expect a package that was addressed to him personally and that she shouldn't open the package, only put it on his desk. This too was completely out of the norm. When the package arrived, another staff member inadvertently, hadn't been warned to not open the package, did just that, opened the package. And inside, she discovered that it contained potassium cyanide. Now, when the office manager discovered that she'd opened the package, she quickly had it resealed and placed in his office, hoping that Craig wouldn't know that they had discovered what was inside. But with Angela having severe medical issues going on, the office manager notified James Craig's dental partner of the package and the contents. And when Angela was declared brain dead on March 15th, they notified police of that package. James Craig's dental partner's wife was also called to the stand, and she added powerful testimony of personal conversations she was having with James Craig as they tried to figure out what was going on with Angela's health. And she also stated that she overheard Craig caught in a lie about that potassium cyanide on a phone call with her husband that was on a speakerphone in their vehicle after they'd visited Angela in the hospital. I mean, holy cow, talk about a tangled web. Well, hey folks, it's Mike from Profiling Evil, and I wanted to take a moment to invite you to join me at CrimeCon Denver. It's in September, and you won't want to miss this. If you love true crime and you love hanging out with people that like true crime, you ought to come and enjoy the 6,000 plus people that come to CrimeCon and take part in this amazing event. And to make it a little easier, I've worked out a deal with CrimeCon to give you a special discount on your registration. So when you go to registration, make sure you enter the code word KING, K-I-N-G, my last name, and that'll get you a discount on CrimeCon. And I look forward to seeing you there. Hey, by the way, bring your books, and I'll make sure to sign them while we're there, and we'll get some pictures together. Hey, we'll see you soon at CrimeCon. But I think it was day 3 that really got to me. In fact, I found myself getting angry with James Craig, as 2 of his daughters had to testify against their father for likely murdering their mother. This was an incredibly intense day. I mean, think about it. Tears, forensic bombshells, and some straight-up villain behavior from Dr. Craig. Angela's 2 daughters, an investigator and forensic experts, took the stand, and it was a roller coaster of emotions And the evidence, it had everybody glued to their seats. The thing that really got to me was when Angela's oldest daughter gave testimony that hit like a ton of bricks. She described her mom as her rock, saying that her mother was her best friend. She said they were very close and they texted throughout the day. She painted the picture of Angela's final days when she said she was struggling with dizziness and weakness. She felt heavy and dizzy and was less stable on her own 2 feet. The courtroom fell silent when a photo of Angela smiling flashed up on the screens, and the daughter broke down in tears. But the real jaw-dropper? She said that Craig told her after Angela's death on March 15th that he didn't want an autopsy performed. Now, he said it was because he didn't want to satisfy other people's curiosities or to have them poking at Angela. Well, the daughter countered with a need to know, feeling that the autopsy did have to happen, especially if there were hereditary issues that the children should be aware about, something that got no response from her father. She added from testimony that she and her mother were making plans, and all of this supported the idea that Angela was fighting to live, not planning on checking out. It's like she was begging the jury to see her mom's truthfulness. Well, the younger daughter brought even more heartbreak. She said that Angela was all about her kids, even when she was fading. She said, "Mom always made sure we were okay, even when she wasn't." Then she dropped a bombshell about a conversation she had with her father after Angela's death, where he told her to stick to their story about Mom's health being bad. And he said, "Listen, we don't need people asking questions." Now, there was also testimony that Craig sent a letter to the daughter asking her to help him create an alibi. He gave her a list of things to do, including using code words, using the dark web, and fraudulent AI-driven video statements. Now, this testimony made Craig look like he was still trying to pull strings even from behind bars. But then, Detective Bobby Olson, the one who had a hit placed on her from Craig in the prison, according to prosecutors, came in with receipts. She talked about digging into Craig's cell phones, and she found a digital footprint that was chilling. Searches like, how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human? Or, is arsenic detectable in autopsies? Or how to make cyanide at home? These weren't random searches, according to the detective. They were specific, targeted, and coincided with Angela's hospitalizations. The detective also revealed the secret email Craig used to buy arsenic and that cyanide order, which was delivered to his dental office. But it gets even wilder than that. While in jail, Craig allegedly offered an inmate's mother free dental work to plant fake letters in his house, all suggesting that Angela set him up. Media reports suggested that Craig offered another inmate a large sum of money to kill Detective Olson. And the deception also included another bribe of large money to get other women to lie about Angela being suicidal. All signs pointing to a desperate James Craig trying to cover his tracks. And all of this is according to the detective. And get this, he also wanted, reportedly, to get attractive women ages 25 to 45 to claim that Angela tried to frame him around Christmas time of 2022. Now, the handwriting on those letters is still being analyzed, but this guy was working overtime to dodge accountability. Then, a forensic expert, a Dr. Emily Harper, testified, and she delivered some incredibly hard facts. She confirmed Angela's autopsy showed lethal cyanide levels and high amounts of tetrahydrozoline, the stuff that's in eye drops like Visine. The levels of cyanide in her blood were lethal, far exceeding any therapeutic or accidental exposure. Now, Dr. Harper explained that these toxins together would have caused Angela's dizziness, her confusion, and her collapse. She said, quote, "These substances, when combined, would cause symptoms like those Angela exhibited. adding that shutting down the idea that Angela was accidentally or intentionally somehow got this cyanide into her hands was impossible. Now, her testimony was backed up by a forensic pathologist who said Angela died of acute cyanide poisoning with contributing tetrahydrozoline toxicity. So with the arsenic poisoning as a side factor, all of it together caused her death. He described her symptoms: dizziness, vomiting, seizures, all textbook poisoning. He said there was no evidence of chronic illness or self-harm, throwing cold water on the defense's suicide angle. And I thought this was brilliant of the prosecution to get ahead of this before the defense tries to come out with these points. The doctor even pointed out the bruising was found on Angela's arm, possibly from an injection, which fits the prosecution's claim that James Craig slipped into her room and gave her cyanide during that hospital visit. I mean, it's like something out of a crime novel, but this is real life. Then there was also the testimony from employees at Midland Scientific, where Craig ordered the cyanide. He used his Gmail account that he created, the waffle one, and that raised red flags, but it didn't raise as many red flags as his demand to have it shipped overnight. Another employee also testified that Craig showed up at their Denver warehouse looking to grab the cyanide in person. I mean, talk about desperate. Well, as day 4 kicked off, the prosecution wasted no time in laying more bricks in this circumstantial wall of evidence. It started with testimony from a former dental assistant who worked alongside Dr. Craig. Now, she told the jury about Craig asking about a specific package that was expected to arrive at the dentist office around March 10th, right in that same window when Angela Craig's mysterious symptoms were escalating. That package, as prosecutors have argued, was a key piece of evidence in those dangerous chemicals, part of the string of poison deliveries allegedly ordered by Craig under that series of suspicious email aliases. And those aliases brought Aurora Police Department Major and Homicide Detective Molly Harris to the stand. She walked the jury through Craig's digital footprint, especially that Jim and Waffles Gmail account, which detectives traced to multiple poison-related searches and purchases. Detective Harris confirmed that the arsenic was ordered and delivered to the Craig home in Aurora. I mean, this is significant because arsenic is one of those poisons that the prosecution believes James used to kill Angela. Well, as week 1 wound to a close, the courtroom tension was high. The seats were packed, and they included Craig's own family members who were watching from the gallery. These testimonies not only add more digital and physical links between Craig and the poisons, but they also hint at the chilling premeditation that prosecutors will no doubt use to argue that this was a cold and calculated murder cloaked in everyday routines. The first week of testimony, it's been a lesson in true crime drama. Day 1 set up the prosecution's chilling story of a scheming husband versus the defense's desperate push for doubt. Day 2 brought office secrets and a creepy cyanide package. But day 3, this was the gut punch. The daughter's raw grief, the detective's digital evidence, and the forensic proof of poison painted a picture that's hard to unsee. And I think this is really important. The prosecution is building a case that James Craig was a cold-blooded, planning, and executing killer, while the defense is scrambling to make Angela's death look like anything but murder. So with the upcoming testimony and forensic revelations, this trial is only going to get more interesting, and I'd really like to know your thoughts. So please, enter them down below and take a moment and weigh in on each other's comments. And thanks for joining Profiling Evil. I hope you've subscribed, and if you haven't, please take a moment and do so. And while you're doing it, give us a thumbs up and share us with your true crime friends. And to deepen your understanding of predators who blend seamlessly into society, I want to invite you to explore my new book, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. It was only released a few days ago, and it is a comprehensive guide to the psychology and the tactics of those who hide in plain sight. The James Craig case exemplifies the themes that I explore in this book, offering critical insight into criminal behavior. I particularly think you'll like the chapter on how predators disassociate and justify their crimes. In there, I reveal how people like allegedly James Craig might use denial and minimization to rationalize their actions and to deflect suspicion. Wolves in Sheep's Clothing explores how predators maintain a public persona, much like Craig's role as a respected dentist and a family man. And they do this to conceal their sinister intentions, things like affairs and alleged poison plots. The book explores the anatomy of evidence and how behavioral evidence, like Craig's incriminating searches and how they made cyanide at home, betray a predator's intent, revealing the truth behind their actions. The book Wolves in Sheep's Clothing is more than just a book. It is a vital resource for recognizing and protecting yourself from hidden dangers. And it's available in paperback, hardback, ebook, and audiobook formats. And you can get Wolves in Sheep's Clothing anywhere in the world through Amazon.com. But if you live in the United States, you can purchase signed copies of the book at ProfilingEvil.com. And I'll deliver it anywhere in the U.S. for free. So please, watch for Profiling Evil on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. That way you'll get exclusive insights and behind-the-scenes content. And for your true crime on the go, listen to my Profiling Evil audio podcast, which can be found on all major podcast platforms. And while you're visiting the website, ProfilingEvil.com, sign up for the BOLO. That's my digital newsletter. And the only way you can get it is by signing up at ProfilingEvil.com. Hey, thanks for being part of the Profiling Evil community. We'll keep following this case and we'll talk more next week. And we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.